A vehicle is amphibious when it travels on land and water. This one's used mainly by hunters and fishermen, but also by utility companies and the military. Wide, rugged tires easily trek through mud, snow, and bushes. When the vehicle's in the water, the tire's deep treads also function as paddles. This 8-wheel model can carry 6 people on land and 4 in the water. Buoyancy requires a lighter load. They begin production by welding 8 steel sections together to make the driver's seat. Then, 12 other parts for the vehicle's main frame. This frame will later house the seat, a gas tank, the battery, and a storage box. A worker assembles what's called the axle hub. A robotic press punches 5 bolts through the components to fuse them. This design keeps the hub lightweight and strengthens the axle for driving on rough terrain. Next, a worker inserts what's called the axle shaft through the hub. A robotic welding machine then fuses the shaft to one side of the hub. After he flips it, the machine welds the shaft to the hub's other side. This company uses a robot for this important step because it's faster and more precise. Here, a worker reveals some of the vehicle's secrets to functioning in water. Each axle's bearing has rubber and steel collars called flanges. They form a waterproof seal over the axle. The worker greases these flanges to lubricate them and to keep dust and water from infiltrating. He inserts one of 16 gaskets between the flanges. They're made of cork to keep moisture out and grease from escaping. After adding another flange and a gasket, he applies a liquid compound to rust-proof the steel shaft. Here, a computer-guided cutting tool carves teeth on a steel ring to create one of the vehicle's 17 gears. Lubricant cools the heat this generates so that the machine doesn't overheat and break down. When the cutting's complete, robotic arms remove the gear and replace it with a new unshaped ring. The gears range from about the size of a coin to the size of a dinner plate. Here's how the shift lever changes the gears from neutral to low to high and into reverse. And here's how the clutch will transfer power via a component called the input shaft into the transmission. A worker hooks up the transmission to the engine. Then he slides 2 clutches onto the input shaft. He attaches each one with a bolt and 2 washers, then connects the engine to the transmission with a rubber drive belt encircling the clutches. 2 brake calipers connect the brake system to the transmission. Now he tests the drive belt, clutch system, engine rotations, brakes, and steering. The wheels don't turn. The driver steers the vehicle by slowing or braking either set of wheels and skidding to one side. To make the vehicle's lower body, they take a sheet of polyethylene, a heavy-duty plastic, and heat it in an oven. After 4.5 minutes at 232 degrees Celsius, the sheet emerges softened by the heat. An aluminum mold drops down, and a vacuum-forming machine stretches the plastic around it, sucking out the air from between the two. After the plastic cools for 4.5 minutes, the machine lifts the mold, leaving a cavity about the size of a large bathtub. Two workers then move the lower body to an assembly line. They insert the vehicle's main frame, now painted black. Then, on the outside, they mount 4 extensions that'll carry the vehicle's 2 front and 2 rear axles. These will enable the axles to withstand greater punishment. They install 8 drive chains onto sprockets on the axle shafts. Then, 2 more linking the transmission to the components that propel the vehicle, what's called the drive system. A worker then attaches an end plate to complete the link. Workers lower the 26 horsepower engine into the carriage and attach it with 3 bolts. Next, the polyethylene upper body and then the wheels. They test the drive chains for tension and sprockets for vibrations. The wheels are twice as wide as most car wheels, but 10 times softer to cushion the ride. On land, this $16,000 vehicle travels up to 35 kilometers an hour. Top speed in the water is only 5 kilometers an hour, but hey, you'll make quite a splash.